Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Audi RS e-Tron GT Performance. We are going to take it for a drive, but first, let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. The RS e-Tron GT, first off, adding that performance name to it, and the whole e-Tron GT range gets a mid-cycle refresh that updates the grille design, the corner vents, adds the now optional forged carbon fiber. That's the first application on any Audi product. Above that, we have projector LED headlights with LED DRLs and turn signals. This paint color is new. It's called Bedford Green Metallic, and it goes from gray and some light to bringing out that green hue in the sun. You can see that metallic flake glittering at me. At the side is a standard set of 20-inch wheels. These are the upgraded 21s with a new wheel design. It's got a two-tone finish. They're wrapped in Pirelli P0 summer tires, 265 section front, 285 at the back. Within those wheels are optional carbon ceramic brakes. They're painted gray as standard, but you can get them in red. I think that might be a weird combo here with the green. This is your charge port door. You have another one on the other side. Forged carbon for the door mirrors and a carbon weave in matte for the roof. Stepping back to look at the profile, the RS e-Tron GT Performance is so low to the ground, and there's more forged carbon on the bottom sill. Looks really cool. Getting to the back, the taillight design continues over with the LEDs and the turn signals. Down low, the diffuser design has been updated here with more of that beautiful forged carbon, and the previous generation did have a more controversial styling to the diffuser. This one is just beautiful aesthetically. And you know what? I do still think the e-Tron GT or RS e-Tron GT Performance, whichever trim, is the best looking of this segment of vehicle. My question for you is, would you even notice the changes if I hadn't pointed them out to you? Let me know in the comments, and let's check out the interior. Before I open the door, take a quick look at the ride height. Nice and low, sitting on those tires. And then, if I open the door, the whole car raises up a few inches to make it so easy to get inside. That is optional. It's with the hydraulic active suspension. I don't know their official name for it, but it's really cool. It's very convenient for people getting in. So on this car, we've got leather up top with green contrast stitching, Alcantara inserts, more leather down here, and even on the bottom of the door panel, there is a Bang & Olufsen sound system as standard. With the exterior forged carbon, you also get interior pieces that look beautiful. These seats all have their own individual bucket shape. It looks really cool. More green stitching here and for the perforations. The rear seats are heated, and there is a fifth seat in the middle, although you'd have a really uncomfortable time sitting on both side bolsters, but that's what that seat belt attests to. Stepping in, I do have to duck my head quite a ways, and then behind my own seat at 6 feet tall, yeah, the headroom is an issue. It's pressed against this roof. I can't make it back to that headrest, but the roof is wrapped in suede. That's quite nice. In the middle, I've got air vents and a third zone of climate. There are 2 USB-C ports hidden just under the middle seat. Feels very nice back here, but yeah, if you're taller, could be an issue. Pulling down the armrest, I find 2 cup holders as well. All right, let's check out the front next. Closing up that door, listening for the thud sound. Ooh, that's nice and solid. Smart keyless entry for both the rear and front doors. Frameless windows with dual pane glass. The front doors have more of that carbon fiber. 2 positions of memory, power adjusting and power folding door mirrors. 4 one-touch up-down windows. And then down here is the trunk release. And there is both a trunk and a smaller frunk. You can fold down the seats 40-20-40 for a little more room. It's just a bit shallow. There is a power close and lock feature. I do wish this vehicle had a hatch, not just a formal trunk, but I'll get over it. Sliding in over the RS tread plates and closing up that door. Hey, cabin crew. So looking at the new steering wheel design with green contrast stitching on the inside, suede all over it, and then these boost and RS functions on the wheel, paddles on the back, and a reconfigurable digital gauge cluster. Work through different options here. Above the gauge cluster, I've got more Alcantara with green stitching and then tons more of that forged carbon. This just looks so much more impressive to me than a woven carbon fiber. You let me know what you think. Woven or forged? Here we've got a 10-inch infotainment screen. This is nothing new for Audi, and it's still running the same software. Still quick to respond. It still has haptic feedback. and capacitive touch, so you know your message has been received. Down below, I do like that there are physical controls for the climate, seat heating, seat ventilation, and massage are all standard on the RS. No digital rear view mirror. Down here, you've got your drive select, your camera system that pulls up, and then your gear selection. Little cubby off to the side for sunglasses. And then the volume and seat controls, which are touch sensitive and I wish were just physical. But my displeasure for that is exceeded by my displeasure for gloss black. This just smudges and scratches and looks terrible. Around that, I do have more Alcantara, and then leather on the center console. Not much storage space inside there. 2 more USB-C ports. This cabin certainly has high quality and performance-oriented materials. I like the seat bolstering as well. But $190,000 is tested. We have to see if some of that, how much of that, is owed to the driving experience. That's up next. All right, let's fire it up. Zero drama, zero artificial noises, just some chimes from the car, and it's live. Hello, cabin crew. Thanks for joining for this first drive in the 25 Audi RS e-Tron GT Performance. I'm joined by Omar Drives.
What's up? Well, I should buckle up.
Yeah, please do.
Because I know how you drive.
We're gonna go quick. So let me throw on my seatbelts and then pull the selector back into drive. And we're beginning in the comfort drive mode. You hit that button there and we've got efficiency, comfort, and dynamic along with 3 different RS customizations, and we access those here with this button as well, in addition to that drive select. So first, let's see if we're going to clear behind this other RS e-Tron GT, and I think I can pull up the camera to assure that, yes, good. We haven't even done the full turning radius test, and we're already off to the right start. In the comfort mode, I've got 845 horsepower. 845 horsepower. There are 2 new electric motors, and we've got a new 105 kilowatt hour battery pack. And when I hit the boost button, or if I go into launch mode, then I have 912 horsepower. That's a huge bump over the 637 horsepower of the last RS e-Tron GT. Now it's just e-Tron GT Performance. As I've made my left turn, I've been able to listen to the turn signal sound. I'm leaving it on now just for... That's really subtle. It's a subtle turn signal noise. Not bothersome at all if you had to leave that on at a light for a while. And I'm not gonna honk. This isn't New York. People don't just honk for no reason. I'll wait a few minutes to do that, to do the world famous horn test. I'm just gonna talk about how this car rides around town. So it's on a new 2-chamber air suspension. The old RS e-Tron GT had a 3-chamber air suspension. And you might think, well, more is better. But actually it's not. They saved weight, they've done some refinements, and so now this air suspension rides just as plushly as before, but is actually more dynamic. As standard, you get the 2-chamber, but there's an active counterbalancing suspension that you can equip that will do all of the measures to counteract the car's actual maneuver. So if you turn left, with the counterbalance, it'll actually raise the right-hand side of the car, where typically your body would slosh to the right. If it raises the right-hand side, it balances you out evenly. And same thing for pitch in the front. So going to the brakes, it pulls the nose up. While I'm just sitting here on the strip, I actually don't know if this is the main, yeah, this is the Las Vegas Boulevard. I'm on the strip right now. I got a comment on these seats. They're very comfortable, and you've got tons of adjustability to them. The steering wheel, I actually wish I could tilt up a little more than it is, because I think the rim is cutting off just the top of the digital gauge cluster, but it telescopes nicely. Bring that out for a perfect posture. Have my hands rest comfortably. I have headroom above at 6 feet. That is terrific. And
in a quarter of a mile, turn right.
That's quite loud. But you know what? I kind of needed the reminder, so I'm fine with that. I will leave that on as...
Caution, traffic on I-15 south.
I don't necessarily need those updates as well. Thank you, Audi MMI system. I do love the digital cockpit. Right now it says you've got 265 miles of range with what is effectively 100% charge. So with the 21-inch wheels, that cuts down the estimated range from 278 miles on 20-inch wheels. That's when you get the 278. And if this was the S e-Tron GT, now it has a range of 300 miles. So that's the entry level. Also, initial stuff. I love that Audi has a thin rim to their steering wheel. This is a new wheel design. I think it's awesome with kind of a flat bottom top and bottom. But gosh, it feels so good with the Alcantara wrapping, and it just isn't overly thick. I feel like automakers that do the super, super thick rims, kind of compensating. Really, really easy to just scoot between lights right now. The throttle response and comfort is measured. Of course, instant delivery of that power regardless with electrification, but yeah, it's easy to drive. Traffic. We are greeted by traffic. Driving assistance features will help with this. So I've got adaptive cruise control, and I can adjust my following distance so I don't have to touch the brake or the throttle to maintain the gap to the vehicle in front of me. Really handy when you're looking at this. There is also lane keep assist. It's not a full highway driving hands-free system like you can get in other luxury vehicles. I wish Audi would kind of get with the program on that, because man, Super Cruise from GM vehicles, or what Mercedes-Benz does, or even BMW now, it's really nice. It really cuts down on the fatigue. RX-8 with a fart can exhaust. That's my test for how quiet it is inside. And I think that's pretty good. That exhaust is undoubtedly loud from the outside, and it stays very mellow in here. Speaking of pleasantness and comfort, Omar, are you comfortable back there?
Decent. It's good. Yeah. It's just the headroom.
Oh, tight.
It's tight. Like if I sit straight like this, back and my hair's touching.
Yeah.
Normally doesn't happen to me. Legroom is good.
Yeah. What about the seats? Padding, solid?
Padding is good. I mean, like I can really stretch out back here, but I think I say the window is tiny back here.
Okay, so does it feel claustrophobic?
A little bit, yeah, but not too bad.
Interesting. So yeah, I don't have that impression from the driver's seat of claustrophobia, but in the back seats, Omar's saying he feels a bit restricted. That's not good. All right, speeds are picking up a little bit here. And apart from what I'm sure is some enhancement to the electric motor noise, you hear very little of the outside traffic. This is smooth tarmac, so not getting much in the way of tire noise. I did hear that big rig, but I think it was amplified by us going under the freeway overpass. I'm really satisfied with the cabin quiet at what now are highway speeds. And as for the passing power, I could change up my mode here, or I can just hit the boost function for maximum 912 horsepower for 10 seconds. Whoa!
Wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready either. I hit the accelerator and I wasn't ready for that. That was nuts.
Was that boost?
That was boosted. Holy cow. That was, ow. Like, I'm having like delayed ows from, I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay, you ready, Omar?
All right, go.
Brace your neck. I'm bracing mine now. Good. Oh. Ooh, yeah, it picks up the pace quick, real quick. One more time, just for fun. Okay, all right. See how quickly we had. Well, I gotta wait 10 seconds till it's gonna allow me to do it. Okay, now it's ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, from 60. Okay.
Oh my God.
About 30 miles per hour. Real stinking quick. And as we've gone over some changes in the road surface, a little bit of construction back there, I have become more and more impressed with the ride quality. Being on 21-inch wheels, for it to ride as smoothly as it does, as compliantly, and me not feeling the harsh impacts of defects in the road, that and the quiet are really impressing me. Okay, that, the quiet, and the obscene mid-range power are impressing me most initially here. Now let's talk about regen braking, because the last generation e-Tron GT, RS e-Tron, whichever, had very minimal slowing from the regen braking. And there was also just not much of a difference between the different regen levels. For this new model, they have improved that. So for one, the differences between the levels, which I adjust with the paddles, is much more significant. The least amount of regen, it is a true coast. Like, I take my foot off the accelerator at 44, and I'm kind of on an uphill here, but it was just peeling off single miles per hour there very, very slowly. Whereas in the strongest level of regen braking, it's coming off in good chunks. I would say it's perhaps not as strong as other one-pedal drive experiences. I was just in the Sierra EV, and that one-pedal drive is aggressive. Like, that would actually snap my neck forward, not from acceleration, but from deceleration. This isn't quite that level, but it is much more slowing when you peel off the throttle, the accelerator, than it was before. And it's more useful, I think, in that way. I have really enjoyed the balance of the comfort drive mode, but I want to try out a different mode here. So let's go to Drive Select, Efficiency, and immediately I did notice a change in the responsiveness of the electric motors to my tip-in of throttle or accelerator. It's kind of resisting the input a bit more than comfort. Certainly not slow. I also did notice it went from normal AC auto to eco mode, because of course full functional AC is going to drain range. Efficiency's fun, comfort is pleasant. We want to see a real world 0 to 60. I'm speaking for you now at this point. So I've got my race box set up here to record. In preparation for that, I'm going into the RS Performance mode. So let me just pull this up because I want to make sure I'm in the right one. RS Performance, that is going to give me all 912 horsepower. Foot on the brake, throttle, launch is active, let it go! I forgot to breathe. There's 60 in 2.46 seconds. How do your insides feel, Omar?
Oh my God.
Mine hurt a little bit, but I liked it. I want to get back to what I just experienced there, but pause for a moment because this, an hour outside Vegas is absolutely gorgeous. To be able to drive these roads in a vehicle this quick, it's a massive blessing. Here we go. Whee! I appreciate them more when they are blurred a little by the acceleration. I spy some curves, and the peaks now have snow on them. RS Performance mode. Got some RS e-Tron GTs in front of me. And now we're gonna put a little bit of the accelerator to the floor. Gosh, this thing is ridiculously quick. Carbon ceramic brakes equipped as an option. That comes with that counterbalancing suspension in one package. Oh, we are moving! And I'm making sure I've got that max regen here, so the moment I get off the accelerator, we do get some slowing before I actually need to use the friction brakes. It's fun to travel quickly as a herd, but I prefer to work alone. Boost mode. You can feel that second gear engage, top speed. Woo! Feels so ridiculously stable at high speeds. It just flattens and gets more comfortable. I'm so impressed with that. I feel like it would just keep accelerating forever. But then a curve comes and you need to slow down. Steering is light, super direct. They made tweaks to the steering system, even more responsive. They closed the ratio slightly, requiring less input to get the same amount of steering angle. And it's just so flat through the curves. I like it, the G-force. The way it gets that 912 horsepower immediately to the tires, it's vicious and yet mild-mannered. It's such a weird dichotomy. I like the steering feel as well. Builds in resistance as I add lock appropriately. I mean, gosh, the biggest takeaway is the level of performance requiring honestly minimal skill to achieve insane speeds. high G levels in acceleration and cornering. Just effortless. And while that is seriously impressive, it does make me a little sad. Cars have become so fast everywhere, and yet they require less and less driver skill. I do need to flip back around now, but this will give me a chance to do a turning radius test. So, wheel fully turned, and easily do we pivot around thanks to the rear wheel steering. Oh, we also haven't done a horn test. World famous. What's it sound like in the e-Tron GT? That's a solid horn, as Omar would say. You being in the car. Omar's classic line. Solid. You don't do it anymore?
So sad.
Holy cow. I'm getting another car for this. Omar, hang out for a sec. Look at this. This is stunning. Very fortunate. And on the downhill, thankfully the regen and the carbon ceramics cut the pace. So I have the confidence. I really need them with a vehicle weighing 5,100 pounds. And one that can achieve speeds like this. To be able to slow itself, that's essential. Okay, I'm done with those, I promise, Omar. I have had my fun, and now I want to turn my attention to some important bits of information related to owning the RS e-Tron GT. Charging. So they have made improvements to the charge rate. It can now accept up to 320 kilowatts. So it'll go from 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes, which is a whole 3.5 minutes quicker than it was before. And if you've got a level 2 charger, then just plug it in and overnight you will have your battery replenished. Pricing. So I did mention this car as tested is $190,000. It doesn't...
No.
I agree with Omar. While it doesn't start at that price, it's $168,200 to start. That's still
good Lord.
Still good Lord. That's a lot of money. It is the the third most expensive of its team of competitors. But when you consider that it makes the least power and is the slowest to 60, you really gotta love the other factors, how it looks, how it rides, and those pieces are impressive. But all the vehicles in this segment are unique offerings. Tesla Model S Plaid, Porsche Taycan Turbo GT, Lucid Air Sapphire, and this. You gotta be a real fan of the EV flavor of performance to spend this amount of money on this kind of car. The question would really be, if you need something in this super high echelon of performance EVs, and then does the Audi product differentiate itself enough and in the right ways? Omar, thoughts?
Earn all of your $167,000 or $190,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to point out the
What?
S e-Tron GT, which is the trim below this,
Right.
starts at $125,000, significantly less.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Does 670 horsepower, or makes 670 in
Yeah.
60 in 3.3 seconds.
That, I almost forgot about that. Great point.
impressive there,
I
so.
forgot about it because we didn't get to drive it.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the entry level e-Tron GT is now the S e-Tron GT. As he said, 670 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds for 40 grand less? Let me know what you guys think. RS e-Tron GT performance, Tesla Model S Plaid, Taycan Turbo GT, or the Lucid Air Sapphire. Hope you guys have enjoyed this first drive, and I'm gonna boost us out of here. See you next time. Brace yourself.